You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife, desperate to ensnare a Brit. As you know, narcissists will bring up the past. This is done by using the past to control the now. We don't bury anything dead. What you think has gone on in the past and has been discussed, debated perhaps ad nauseum, you believe has been concluded and that you move on. Not in our world. It can be brought up a day later, a week later, a decade later, and thrown in your face. There are instances where we bring up the past as it actually happened, even though you think that it's reached a conclusion. Furthermore, there are instances where we bring up the past in part, and indeed, there are instances where we bring something up from the past that never actually happened, but it did from our perspective. Narcissists regularly use this form of manipulation. You find it tiresome, irritating, and confusing. But it's not just the narcissist that will bring up the past. It can also be brought up against the narcissist in certain instances. And we have an example of that here in the Mail Online with an article by Callum Wells, which tells us about how former friend Lizzy Cundy, who finds herself disengaged from, since she currently serves no meaningful use to Harry's wife, and hasn't just been left on the shelf, but has been actively disengaged from. Lizzy Cundy, of course, is a non-intimate secondary source in the fuel matrix of Harry's wife. At one point, she served a purpose in terms of being easy to control, providing fuel, assisted by way of character trait provision, and of course assisted also with regard to the provision of certain residual benefits. She served her purpose, and having assisted Harry's wife in elevating herself towards ensnaring Prince Harry, she then found herself cast to one side. Now, as I've explained, it's relatively unusual for narcissists to completely disengage from non-intimate secondary sources, but it does happen. More usually, it's the shelving dynamic. With Harry's wife, because she has followed a trajectory whereby she has climbed higher and higher as she's grifted her way through society, it means that those that occupy a position within a certain strata of her journey are no longer needed. More usually, the narcissist doesn't necessarily have that rising trajectory, and therefore, rather than disengage the people, they stay within the same strata of individuals of position and status, etc. So they will shelf those individuals instead. But with Harry's wife, let us say she starts off in position A, and there are certain members of the family and friends that she will deal with. As a consequence of the way that her narcissism functions, she then moves into strata B, climbing a bit higher. Some of those people in strata A are no longer of any use to her, and therefore, rather than put them on the shelf and leave them there, she disengages from them because they do not fit with strata B. She then moves on to strata C. Those in A are now well left behind. Those in B may well be disengaged from as she finds new people in strata C that she draws into her fuel matrix and uses instead. Those in A and B can't cater to C. And thus, that rising trajectory as she's moved from unknown actress that was supported by her father to sudden infamous global beigeness means that she has different uses for the appliances and therefore is more likely to disengage from those non-intimate secondary sources compared to shelving them. Lizzy Cundy has found herself as part of Harry's wife's journey, serving a purpose and aiding her on that, and now finding herself disengaged from. But she brings up the past by explaining that she tried to get Harry's wife a role in Made in Chelsea, which is a reality television programme, and this was done before she met Prince Harry. The TV personality, aged 54, has previously said she became friends, non-intimate secondary source, with the Duchess of Sussex after the pair hit it off at a charity dinner together in 2013. And during a Monday appearance on GB News, she told Nana Akua the former Suits star was keen to join the E4 reality show's cast. The ex-wag said, "I was friends with Harry's wife for a while, and I really got on with her." Interpreting that, you were of use to her and therefore she paid you attention. "I was asked by a friend to look after her at a charity event, and I thought, who is this woman? No one actually knew who she was." So this demonstrates, of course, that Harry's wife came from that sort of unknown strata. Lizzy continued, she wanted a boyfriend, intimate partner, primary source, and wanted to get on the showbiz scene. That, of course, extends her reach, allows more fuel to be gathered, more character traits to be acquired, more residual benefits to access. And she wanted a job in British television, and wanted to be made in Chelsea, actually, the show. So I said, look, if I can help you, I will, which I tried to do. I tried to hook her up with Ashley Cole, actually the former Chelsea player, but she wasn't his type. I said I'd try and hook her up with a few guys. She wanted to stay in Britain. She wanted a British boyfriend. So she got that one in the end and won the lottery. Mail Online has contacted Harry's wife's representatives for comment. Last year, Lizzy claimed that Harry and Harry's wife named their daughter Lilibet as a tribute to her and not the Queen. The royals announced the birth of their daughter Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor on Sunday, naming the second child after Her Majesty's childhood nickname and Harry's late mother. Yet socialite Lizzy insisted this isn't the case at all, and that the name is in fact a tribute to her as a way of mending bridges after she was ghosted by the Duchess. I suspect that that's rather the hope of Lizzy Cundy rather than the actuality. But also it demonstrates how she recognises that she was ghosted by the Duchess of Sussex. In other words, has nothing more to do with her. That, of course, can be indicative of long-term shelving, whereas in here, it's demonstrative of the fact that she has been disengaged from, namely that the Duchess of Sussex, having climbed to the next strata, had no need of Lizzy Cundy any longer, and because she has no emotional empathy for her, no accountability for the friendship, she not only pops her on the shelf, but then disengages from her, doubtless making it impossible for Lizzy Cundy to get in touch with her. Speaking to OK Magazine, Lizzy said, "I was called Lilibet, it's short for Elizabeth, it was my nickname at school. Thank you, Harry's wife, you ghosted me, and now you're calling your child after me. I appreciate it. My name was Lilibet at school. When I heard it on the radio, I kind of turned and said, that's my name. I haven't been called it for years. I was quite shocked by it because it's an unusual name. Maybe that's her way of reaching out, but I wish them well and I think it's wonderful." Again, it's not the case, but that is just wishful thinking on the part of Lizzy Cundy. Lizzy has previously said she became friends with the Duchess of Sussex after the pair hit it off at a charity dinner together in 2013. Describing one of their nights out, Lizzy, who described Harry's wife as a giggle and a real girl's girl, told Mail Online, "It was a very high society party. She was climbing the ladder, as it were." Indeed. And of course, that's her narcissism driving her onwards and upwards, so that she gains more status and wealth and infamy, so that she has more people that she can control and draw fuel from, more character traits and residual benefits that can be acquired. It demonstrates, of course, the way that Harry's wife's narcissism determined that a British boyfriend would be appropriate, and how she basically wanted one for status and wealth. Although she thinks that she wants to love somebody, she doesn't. Her narcissism means that she's incapable of loving somebody. She just creates an approximation of what that is. But it demonstrates the desperation that she had to ensnare somebody British, so long, of course, as they were suitable with regard to being easy to control, providing lots of fuel, having plenty of character traits on offer, and likewise lots of residual benefits. And of course, as we know, Prince Harry fitted that bill. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.